To have you here. I am not a country music fan myself, but I am aware, as you may be aware, of the death of 76-year-old Naomi Judd, famous in the Judd family, Ashley Judd, and she was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And she had an amazing career, amazing family, and she is dead. Ashley Judd is speaking out. There's an article on today actually put out about that. Ashley Judd sat down with Good Morning America interviewer Diane Sawyer and was talking about this. And perhaps you know somebody who took their own life. I know a handful of people who attempted suicide. I don't personally know anybody that succeeded in committing suicide. If you have, my heart goes out to you. But I do know at least a few precious people who attempted suicide, and it's awful. And I'm very sorry. And I just want to share a word from God, because there are still some people who believe that suicide is the unpardonable sin. If you commit suicide, you're going to hell. In my very first church in rural Missouri, someone attempted suicide and somebody else suggested that they might go to hell. So I think somebody who attempts suicide is in their own hell. And so I don't see a need for God to punish somebody who is already in their own emotional hell, somebody who is in their own anguish and mental pain. Ashley Judd was talking about her mom and said, our mother couldn't hang on until she was inducted into the Hall of Fame by her peers. I mean, that is the level of catastrophe of what was going on inside of her. Ashley said regarding depression, it lies, it's savage. And so the devil is a liar. And so if you are depressed, if you are discouraged, if you are disappointed, you may not feel like God is with you, but God is with you. The Bible says so. In Psalm 34, verse 18, the Bible tells us in no uncertain terms, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. Or in some translations, the Lord is near the brokenhearted, and he saves those who are crushed in spirit. So if you or someone you know is crushed in your spirit, the Lord is close to you. Now, when you're brokenhearted, when you're in depression, when your emotions are triggered, when all you have is darkness, you may not feel like God is near you, but he is still near you. In Luke 24, there's a story that took place on the evening of the first Easter Sunday. Jesus began walking along with two disciples of Jesus, and they couldn't recognize him. They were so full of grief and depression, they couldn't recognize him. And they're walking to Emmaus, and they're walking and they're talking with Jesus Christ, and they can't recognize him. They don't know it's him. They still think he's dead. And that's what happens when you're dead on the inside. When you're full of depression, you feel like there's no God, or if there is God, God's nowhere near you. You don't feel hope. You don't feel optimism. And so I can't relate to this level of anguish, but I've had my depression and disappointment. So God has not abandoned you. If you suffer with depression, if you have had suicidal thoughts, if you are at the end of your rope with your life, if you don't see any way out, God is still with you. He has not left you. He will never leave you, never forsake you. So get help. Talk to someone. Reach out to someone. God is on your side. And if you know of somebody who has committed suicide, God can reach them in the afterlife. That might sound heretical or controversial to some Christians and churches, but you know what? The Bible says over and over again, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His mercy endures forever. His mercy endures for how long? For a lifetime? No, forever. Never ending, everlasting. So that tells me that, yes, Jesus can reach somebody even when they have passed on from this life and breathed their last breath. Nothing is impossible with God, for with God all things are possible. So he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So he can reach into the spiritual realms of darkness and find Naomi Judd and save Naomi Judd and bring her to heaven. And I believe that he will save the lost persons, even someone that you know who, God forbid, took their own life. I believe that Jesus has compassion and mercy upon that person. He's slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love. So I believe that he will reach the lost. That's why he said that he came. He said that he came to this world to seek and to save who? Those who are lost. So if you know somebody who took their own life, even in the spiritual realms, even in eternity, the eternal realms, Jesus can and will rescue them from the dominion of darkness and bring them into his marvelous light. So keep that in mind. And if you or someone you know is struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts or mental health, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-8255. If you need prayer or want to talk or share your problems, please do so in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and God bless.